Man, Bionicle is so cool. And perhaps the coolest looking Bionicle characters are the Toa Inika. I mean, the television commercials had them rocking out to all American rejects, so yeah, they're pretty dope. But all 6 of these amazing Toa sets, could they be built better? Let's find out in today's episode. We got 6 amazing revamps from across the Bionicle community that reimagined these characters in some pretty cool ways. Let's take a look and get you some inspiration. Let's start off with a revamp of Toa Inika. This was built by Bionicle enjoyer Sam. Here's a little side by side with the original set and this revamp. It's always nice to see some updates to the Inika masks. Those masks specifically were radically different to anything else that we ever got. Very organic looking masks that a lot of people don't really like. And if you're one of those people that think they're a little bit too ugly, maybe you could go for a good custom mask, much like this one. It breathes a little bit of new life into the mock and into the character. It's cool. We've also got some brand new lightning additions on this creation. And of course, according to the lore for these characters, the Toa Inika were struck by red lightning from the red star. The wiki states that the Inika also have elemental blasts that were intertwined with lightning. And Toa herself. She has her typical water powers, but they can be combined with lightning. So yeah, a lot of lightning stuff tied into these characters. So it's only fitting to include a little bit more noticeable electricity into these designs. And you know, I think this works particularly well on Toa Inika. Her dark blue and gunmetal color scheme, it's wonderful. But 2 darker tones together like this, it can look a little bit dull. Now sure, the set had some white marbled into those pieces, and this mock adds a little bit of medium blue, which is good. It does elevate the color scheme a little bit, but I don't know man, the injection of a bit of trans green, it adds so much more. The bright color up against these darker tones, so pretty. And mate, lightning shooting out of your back? That's freaking cool. I really like this revamp. It makes the character so much more exciting. And hey, you know, now that I think about it, the lightning coming out of her back, these could be wings. It's kind of very reminiscent of her Mari form, which of course had some silver wings. I like that. Nice callback to her other versions. Sick. Bionicle Forge has a revamp of Jala Inika for us, and yeah, this is pretty sweet. Once again, we have an exquisite custom mask. One that still captures the essence of the original, but feels nice and different at the same time. And speaking of different, look at the changes to these weapons. It's so cool to see how these have been remade with other pieces. I quite like this smaller Zamisphere launcher that uses ball joints as scaled down Zamispheres. It appears that these cannot fire out of the blaster. This is purely for aesthetic, but hey, it's so impressive to see this remade in a smaller version. Doing that is no easy thing to do. It can be easier to upscale things because you've got more space to build with. When you build smaller, you really got to use pieces in more creative ways. You have less space to play with. So hey, they nailed this. We also see some kind of trans-orange armor and flames on the upper legs. This is fun. It's kind of a callback to the trans-orange limbs that came on the original set. They weren't just on the legs, they were like all over the body. But I like this little upgrade here, putting actual flames into this area. It makes it feel like his elemental powers are flowing all throughout his body. It looks like fire courses through his very skin. That's hardcore. That's cool. Oh yeah man, and all of this phenomenal shaping all over the torso. Great use of lots of CCBS armor shells to craft really beautiful looking armor. I especially love how these gold pieces flow down the waist into the legs. It creates such a nice transition from the torso into the legs. Truly spectacular. That's always one of my favorite things to see with Bionicle mocks. Brilliant shaping like this. The fact that you can turn plastic pieces into really organic humanoid forms, it's mind-blowing. Moving over to my favorite mock in this video, this is Kingdom Nuparu the Engineer. This was built by Kotorak. Now when we compare this to the original set, yeah, you'll notice a pretty massive difference. Of course, there's a bunch of orange. You see, I like this. It's a callback to when Nupara was a Matoran in some earlier sets, and he had his iconic Picari orange mask. Yeah, I like the idea that the orange would have stuck around when he became a Toa. It makes sense, and honestly, it looks so good. Because hey, sure, the all-black color scheme with a little bit of silver here and there is pretty nice on that original set. But it is just sort of one color. It's a little bit monotonous, a little bit monotone. Like we were talking about with Gully, sometimes a brand new, brighter color being introduced, it's all you need to transform something from good to great. Something else that's good is this shield design. Nice thinking to use two of these orange shield pieces. In orange, they specifically came on the Furno bike. You can see them on the sides of the vehicle. But yeah, slapping two of them side by side like that to create an almost kind of Roman-style long shield. So cool. Now, sure, they're using two shield pieces to make a shield. That's not exactly revolutionary. But hey, man, sometimes really simple stuff like this can look really, really good. The art of simplicity is not an easy thing to do. But Kotorak, I think he's a master of making really simple designs look so clean, so good, and so professional. I love this shield, and I love this mock. I mean, heck, even the shoulder cannon and the handheld blaster, they look simply wonderful. And yeah, of course, these look pretty similar to the original set, but there's some nice upgrades to them. I always like seeing builders add their own personal touches to existing sets. This does a great job of keeping that classic charm, but adding so much more. Now for something a little bit different, but this still fits the theme, it's still Toa Inika. This is an alternate universe version of him, however. And this was made by an artist on Reddit whose name is simply deleted. I believe their account has been deleted and their original name isn't popping up anymore, unfortunately. But I like this. This feels similar to what was going on the last mock. They're clearly taking some inspiration from Motoro's original Matoran form. He's got that same beautiful sand blue mask, and then you mix some sand blue in with some metallic blue, and you really got something. See, I think this is a great mask alternative. We've seen a few mocks now that are using custom masks. Maybe you're not someone that likes to do that. You want to stick to traditional, official LEGO pieces, and I can understand that. But maybe you just don't like those Inika masks. Well, go back to their Matoran masks. They look pretty good when they're wearing them, and hey, you can always add a little bit extra to it, like wrapping a scarf around the mask. And some of the poses of this scarf, they look majestic. It's amazing what you can do with older pieces like this and a little bit of cloth. And this blaster is pretty sweet. Nice idea to use that ice skate piece at the bottom of the weapon. It's a good way to tie Motoro's blaster into his elemental powers. It makes it feel a little bit more ice-themed since it is an ice skate. Good thinking. Now over to Edon 475, and this is their take on Huki. So again, same concept, taking notes from the Matoran version and drastically altering the color scheme. But you got that original mask, and that's good. That being said, hey, I do like the original gunmetal and Keat orange color scheme of this set. I remember that excited the pants off of me as a kid. I was like, whoa, we've got a yellow Toa? He looks so good. But sometimes it's nice to see something a little different. It's nice to honor the classics. Now, there's some clever part use going on here, especially on this weapon. In the middle, we of course have this standard shield piece for a shield. Again, that's pretty straightforward, nothing too special about that, but the nice part use comes in here. We've got these blades right at the top here. These are the same ones that came on Tahu Mystica's spinning shield. These look so good rounding off the edges of this shield. And of course we've also got a blade piece coming out at the bottom, and actually I like that. Making the shield have some offensive capabilities and some defensive capabilities. A nice 2-in-1 deal. But if you're curious where that weapon piece came from, it appeared in a few different sets, but one of them was Matoran Garen. Yeah, this is a nice little construction for this shield. Good stuff. And finally, we finish things off with the mighty Kongu. This revamp was built by Ron Folkers. Kongu works so well as a Titan. And plus, it's lovely to see lots of older pieces scattered all over this mock. We've got some dark green Paraka feet, Rakshi feet in dark green, There's even some old limb and armor pieces from different sets. This just has such a classic feeling to it. There's a little bit of CCBS armor here and there, but most of this is using older pieces from original Bionicle G1 sets. And I like that. You just don't see people doing that all that often these days. CCBS, of course, always looks good in my opinion, but hey, we love the classics. Now, one of the coolest parts of this mock has to be the upgraded weapon. Here's a side-by-side with the original piece versus the bigger version. And isn't it amazing how Gresh's silver weapon piece, the one that came on this set here, that piece is able to capture an awfully similar shape to the original crossbow weapon. What a great way to upscale this piece. Oh, and of course, nice idea to use this lightsaber piece that came in a set like General Grievous, and use that to convey the big blue energy beam in the middle. So smart. And another smart move is this back design. It's using the torso piece that came on the original set for Toa Inika. Yeah, I haven't done a side-by-side yet. This is what the original set looked like. Here's the mock. You can see it's a lot bigger for sure. But yeah, going back to the back. We can see that torso piece from the original set, smack bang in the middle there. This piece, of course, is a nice marbled silver and dark green piece. And I love when builders do this. They're using the natural coloration and transition of colors in this piece to create a beautiful color gradient that changes the dark green torso into silver shoulder armor. Sensational. One of my favorite things to see when people do this with color. It's just beautiful. So if you've got marbled pieces in your collection, try and do something similar to this. It looks so good. Man, Kongu has never looked better. So that's that, everybody. 6 revamps of all 6 Toa Inika. Do you think these were built better? Did you have a favorite one in this episode? Well, let me know in the comments below. And then also in the description below, you can take a look at some of the other work of these talented builders that I featured today. Links to their social media are waiting for you right there. Go and check it out. But that's all for today, guys. Love you so much. Happy building, and bye for now.